It's been a long time since we last talked to Aurora Solar Technologies, ticker ACU on the Venture Exchange. A lot has happened at that exciting technology company, though. Among other things, they developed a very promising software product. We managed to get hold of CEO Gordon Deans and asked him to bring us up to date. Gordon, welcome. Gordon, as I said, it's been a long time since our last interview. Please give our audience a very short reminder of what Aurora Solar is all about.
Aurora provides process control solutions for solar cell manufacturers. The products that we provide are measurement instruments that are used during the manufacturing process for quality control, and a new software product that we call Insight, that is a yield management system that's used to do optimization and troubleshooting on the entire line so that the economic output of the line and its performance is as high as possible.
Okay. Well, thank you. As you said, Insight is your new project. Can you give us a bit more details, an idea of what it is exactly, or the advantages? You mentioned that, but how does it work? Is it a real-time thing that's working all the time?
Yes. So every single solar cell that's manufactured, and in an average size plant, that's about 900 million a year, is tested electrically at the end of the line. And that's in order to put a value on it. So the tests are to determine how much power output it produces under standard test conditions. That generates a lot of data about the electrical performance of the cells. And we use that data along with tracking of the materials through the plant in order to be able to pin down any particular issues or suboptimal operation of any of the manufacturing equipment in the plant. So by using this data that's available and by using the capability for the plant engineers to interpret the information that we provide them, we allow them to be able to do things like identify mistuned pieces of equipment, optimize their maintenance schedules, troubleshoot problems that arise from time to time, and also test and try out new recipes or new ways of manufacturing in the plant that promise to provide them with a better output. Previously, they've had to do this manually. It's laborious, expensive, and very time-consuming to do it that way. So Insight makes this faster, it makes it more accurate, and it makes it more capable for them to be able to actually get the improvements that they're looking for.
Okay, well, it sounds like a big advantage. If it works.
I might also add a couple of points on that.
Yeah.
It is a software product. We address it to the entire market, not just new builds. And we will be selling this on a subscription basis. So this generates a recurring revenue stream for the company and moves us from a capital equipment provider to more of a software as a service provider as well. So we're really excited about that because we think that's going to create great benefits, not just for our customers, but also for the company and the shareholders.
Yeah, that was what I was going to say. It sounds like it's a great, could be a great advantage to your customers. And as you said, the business with machines is, I don't know if you can say unpredictable, but certainly a software revenue stream would come in very handy, being much more predictable, hopefully. Now, the software has to work, though. I think you're you haven't yet launched it to the market overall, but you've been trying it out with the customer of yours. I think you announced it at the end of February. Can you tell us about that, how that is going?
Yes, so we are working with that customer now. So the evaluation is in progress, and they're making good use of it. We're at the stage now where we're starting to really pin down what the economic benefits of using it are with them. We're a little bit behind. The pandemic and the Chinese New Year holiday made us behind by about 2 or 3 weeks at this point, but it's progressing well, and we expect to have very good results from that. At the beginning of June, we're going to be introducing it at a trade show in Shanghai, China. And this is the major market for the product. So we'll be using some of the results from the evaluation that we're doing with our lead customer in interviews and meetings with customers that may potentially be users of this in China as well.
Okay, so well, I was going to come to that later too. When it's as you said, your business is mostly with the Chinese customers, or is your biggest market also? Have you been hindered very much by the pandemic because of travel restrictions, or have you been able to work around that?
Just before the pandemic, we shipped a large number of units to China and also to Malaysia as well. And there has been some impact. So while we have staff in China, what we normally do when we're commissioning these systems, especially for new customers, is we send experts from Vancouver, the headquarters, in order to assist with the commissioning of the systems. So because of the travel restrictions, this has happened more slowly. We've been doing it remotely, but we're making progress on that. We have some final acceptances with customers, and we're working through with a few more on this. We are also going to be hiring personnel in China to augment the team there, to bring in more specialized skills that we replicate that we have in Vancouver, and also to bring in more senior skills, because we believe this is going to be necessary as China is proven to be the main market, and we want to develop a very strong presence there for the development of the business.
Okay, well, so sounds like a lot of work, but also this could be very big for you. Now, let's take a step back a bit. Your latest press release just a couple of days ago really was for a financing agreement with Stifel for, I think, $3 million. Can you tell us what that money is going to be used for, please?
Well, I just mentioned we're going to be augmenting our China team, building that up. So part of the money is going to be for that. We're going to have a substantial amount of that that's going to accelerate the insight work. So one of the things that we've been finding during the evaluation process is that there's much more depth that we can go to with the product very early, actually, in its development. And we are at this point evaluating what we will provide to the customers in the first version of the product that actually more directly pinpoints the particular pains that they have with respect to the optimization of their manufacturing line. So this has been a learning thing for us, which has been extremely valuable. And we are hiring more people in the software team and more experts in data science, which is the art of being able to manipulate and extract information from big data. So we see more and more possibilities for insight value creation and the product roadmap and runway as we move forward as well. So we're going to use the money for that. Also, we will be using some of the money for general corporate purposes as well.
Okay, thank you very much. Well, we can talk about China a lot and the Chinese market. At the end of last year, I think it was, you announced a strategic partnership that was not in China though, but in Germany, which is of course particular interest to us being from Germany. Please tell us about your cooperation with Wave Labs.
Yes. So Wave Labs makes the testers at the end of the solar cell manufacturing lines, the ones that simulate sunlight and then generate the electrical performance of each cell. They are one of two major companies, both of which happen to be based in Germany, that provide this equipment to solar cell manufacturers. And this equipment is a must-have. You have to have this at the end of each production line. So Wave Labs has a very interesting technology that we are exploiting with Insight. They use LEDs, and normally a cell tester will just simulate white sunlight. But with the LEDs, you can simulate any color you want. And different colors behave different, cause the solar cell to behave differently. So if you use, for example, red alone or blue alone, you will get different performance in the cell. And this tells us in Insight more about what's going on inside the material, inside the solar cell. And that translates into more specific information about exactly which machines in the manufacturing plant may be underperforming or maybe introducing more variance into the output of the manufacturing line. So this allows us to give a higher value to the customers. And we will be rolling out features along with Wave Labs for that later at the end of this year and the beginning of next year as a higher tier, which will price higher as well for Insight than the introductory version. So that's the functional nature of the alliance. Also, we have agreed to cooperate in marketing and selling both Insight and the Wave Labs testers. So we won't be directly selling each other's products, but we will generate leads and also cooperate on in matters such as this trade show coming up that I mentioned.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. That certainly sounds good, and there's still a lot of work to do, but you're getting there. It sounds like it, at least. Yeah. Now, talking about the Aurora Solar stock for a bit. Earlier this year, the price of the Aurora shares spiked, I think, to more than 70 cents. In the meantime, it's given back most of those gains, I think. Are you able to explain that move? And then, in your personal opinion, is now a good time for investors to think about taking position in Aurora Solar?
Well, I'd like to start by saying that I'm not a financial advisor, and I also don't control the stock market, but I can say a few things about that. First of all, what I'd like to say is that since a year ago, the share price has tripled. And that's taking out that spike, which to me, when I look at it on a stock chart, looks a little bit like one of the skyscrapers in Dubai. And the other thing to keep in mind is that peak was over a period of days. So this was driven, at a time when there were a lot of shares and companies in the clean tech industry that were experiencing a very similar phenomenon. I don't know what the cause was, but this was not just an Aurora characteristic. The company has increased its value more than 3 times because we've also had warrants exercised, which was very successful, and that has increased the total amount of issued shares as well. So the share price is up 3 times, is tripled. We have more shares in the float now. So the value is increased for the company. And this is at the point where we are just at the introductory stage of this very exciting Insight product. So obviously I'm a shareholder and I'm really looking forward to seeing the value increase in the company. And I do think that we have a great opportunity in the company to create more value over the next 12 and 24 months, and even in the very short term for shareholders.
Okay, well, that certainly sounds good, and that's what we like to hear. Thank you very much for taking the time talking to us, and we'll be sure to check in perhaps very shortly, perhaps over the next 12 or 24 months to see how it all went. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Bjorn.